John Florence, Ezekiel and Matthew McGillivray in the water now here in heat number 8 of the opening round here at stop number 3 of the season. Florence, a champ out here back in 2016 when he clinched that first world title, a moment that he will never forget. Guy who got the ride of the year, maybe of a lifetime, Peter Mel.
Yeah, I would say a lifetime. I don't know if it's pretty good. Here we go.
As we see pulling in, nice positioning and just losing the handle is John Florence. They call him the best tube rider in the world for a reason. That was not easy to ride.
Well, on a 6-0 ghost. Saw him walking around in the competitors area, asked him what he's going to ride. He said the 6-0, so he's on the ghost. Maybe a little short. Could have used maybe the 6-2.
And so a decent score at the buzzer disappears. It turns into a 2. For getting caught at the end of that tube ride.
Well, the boys are paying some dues at this moment. As soon as the heat started, that first one, it actually lit up. We saw some barrels being had. Before that, it was definitely, you could see him up and down the beach.
As we see pulling in, McGillivray trying to really turn that end section into a keeper score, but that'll take him down. John Florence representing Alex Florence for International Women's Day. His mother, that is an incredible surfer, snowboarder, skateboarder, free-falling into the pit. Florence,
wow,
standing tall, making it look so easy, getting the ride of the day.
That was mental, right from the drop, that thing. How
was it a drop? I think he paddled from the bottom. He never dropped. I mean, he was literally paddling on the bottom that way.
There's one more look here, Paul.
So late into it, you couldn't possibly be later, and just chops the line down to make sure he gets the exit, goes all floppy. He knows he's on his way to a decent number here.
That's why they like the gum sandbar, to learn how to do that. I mean, look at this. I mean, he just literally is underneath it, so deep and underneath, and you think, oh, can he bottom turn into it? Sure, that angle right there is just sick. Nice work, John, and you expect stuff from him. We always set that bar pretty high, and wow, he always seems to jump right over it, doesn't he?
Is it possible to break down his technique, Pete, when it comes to surfing slabs the way he does? Meanwhile, during that last replay, he went left, got shoved out of the pit on this one.
He's just surfing for strategy here, getting a backup score real quick. Just a little backup left.
Always feel like he is so dangerous when he doesn't have to worry about priority, when he's got a big lineup where he can hunt down scores. He just feels like he's free surfing, Paul.
Yeah, this one went super hollow on the end. He just tried to negotiate that exit, but as you said, just wants to free surf and catch a ton of waves. He's an absolute tube pig. Starting seeing things that maybe other surfers don't quite see.
McGillivray gets hung up on the backside snap attempt, so he'll take some water on the head after the free fall out of the lip line. A 1 and a .73 for McGillivray.
Or better. But yeah, that was one of those things where, ultimately, I think I like the way that they've been trying to pull this off and be really clear about a make, right? Is riding out in front of the whitewater. I mean, it came from the surfers. The surfers wanted to see that happen.
As we see the wind of this in the air, we're talking about what an incredible projection above the lip, but you got to ride out in front of the whitewater with control. The tube looked really fun for this 4-point ride.
Yeah, packs it in nice and deep. It's not a huge wave, but it's a round one. And it's so stylish and controlled, and already here we knew exactly what was coming. Gives it the treatment, almost loses the foot during that rotation, but he is going into that air wind, going into the left, but just that explosion on the whitewater, Pete just wasn't able to really get it done clean.
Yeah, so I would, as a best competitor, no, I don't think he is. And that's okay with me, though.
Loving the debate here as we look at this action continues. Zeke Lau muscles his way out of the right-hand pit. Cool to look back at those moments. First, let's see Zeke's tube. This thing shuts down, somehow got the exit.
Yeah, he's been awfully quiet, hasn't he, since he went down pretty heavy at the beginning of this heat, and that'll feel much, much better for him. Really nice to get under the lip. It's smooth and clean. It just kind of disappears as it clamps.
You had to work hard to get through all those chandeliers and whitewater and potholes.
That was a free fall from the sky. Now gets his first completion. Wrapping turn for McGillivray. Looking for a finish. There's the combo. Nice vertical to clean that one up as we get to the halfway mark.
in that kind of thing. So it's like, that's the competitive part of being able to block out someone trying to.
It might not work because they might have already been paddling circles themselves.
Yes.
It's an interesting part of that game. 12 minutes on the clock. John Florence in position, stalling on the takeoff. Big section, lands on his head, and he almost rides away clean. Talking about a crazy low road exit with a ton of water on his back. He almost pulled off a miracle there. He was completely hooked. What did you see here, Pete?
Well, I saw a nice late drop once again, and somehow finds his way through basically an avalanche to come out the bottom of it. A water avalanche, and didn't quite pull it off in order to get a good number. It only came in at a 2.37, so a throwaway score. But man, he is just like cat-like skills. They're paddling very early, and I think that's a key element of getting through the wind, down below the double up, and having the paddle speed. As you see this replay here of Ezekiel Lau, and was able to kind of come up underneath it and actually time himself underneath the hood. So nicely done there for Zeke. I mean, he could be threatening to take the lead here.
Impressed with Zeke Lau in the last few minutes. I mean, the wipeout was a while ago on the start of the heat. Now he's just completely turned this matchup around. 7-1-7.
Gravier.
It's actually a really interesting point as well. And this sandbar does tend to more or less be in the same place. That's pretty unusual. You think about how much it shifts up in Hossegor and how much the sandbars move around. And every time this event come back, and we're more or less basically in this main A-frame peak is.
I think a lot of that. Sand doesn't move as often as we see got live action here.
McGillivray, hard off the bottom, still going to turns. First turn off the lip, second one, he pulls that nose of the board out to make sure he gets the landing.
But you get the feeding of the Nazare Canyon, so that kind of feeds that zone in, and and it puts it in kind of a pretty basic area.
As we take another look, Paul, what'd you see here?
Yeah, he really needs to get something going. Nice hit off the top from him, it's better. And then tags it on the end. It's pretty good.
Keeping him in second, not quite the 5.91 for the lead change. I know Zeke Lau very inspired for another chance to try to beat John Florence here. 3 minutes. Zeke having a look, second priority. He'll get this wave, trying to slam on the brakes. He'll pull in, he's got the momentum. Lau gets the exit. Going for the backside air reverse. Two sections colliding. There's nothing more that Lau loves than being an underdog to John, to try to turn the heat at the end.
Well, as you said,
yeah, very impressed with Florence and Zeke Lau. Zeke, right at the end, had an option to get the lead. He did get that, but there was one wave left and a little time for John to answer back.
Really, really entertaining heat. We love that.
As we see Zeke Lau just missing the reverse. Waiting for score for Zeke. Priority with John, as he will pack this left. One big pump. It's staying wide open. Florence gets the exit.
Crazy stuff.
And he will style his way into the beach with 3 seconds left. Right when we thought Zeke was going to steal the win off John, Florence has the final say.
Absolutely love that. Almost a slight element from here of one-upmanship. He gets a pretty good one, and then John says, oh yeah, and puts it deeper, travels a long, long way behind the section, comes out super clean. What an entertaining hit.
We're back to John's wave first, Pete.
Just the first section. Look how perfect that wave is. It's the schoolbook style with the offshore winds like that. It was going right into the north winds. Really easy for John. Just all that technique. Cakewalk.
Making it look so easy. What a way to finish. When John's getting barreled, he's incredibly happy, engaged with the matchup. And at this point, he was in second, chasing just a 4-range number. This will be an 8.5 to turn in yet another excellent heat. John and Zeke stay in the top two. McGillivray moves to the elimination round. Number 1 in the world, Baron Mamiya, coming up next. We'll bring in Shannon, Strider, and Kaipo for the call.